Chim chums, it's Ryan of DAGames, and after the last theory for the sister location video, we figured we'd come back and do a bit more on the in-depth analysis, because it seems like there's a lot more than this that's a little more covered, and something that we were very blind to from the very beginning. And I figured, why not put this down and let's put it out in theory and see what everybody thinks of it. So the first thing I really wanted to show is something that I think everybody missed out on, which happened to be down in this little cheek area right here. If I'm not mistaken, that looks kind of like a silhouette of a strange, weird type demon monster. I can't describe it because what it appears to me is like, it's like Saw. If you've ever seen the movie Saw and you've seen the weird clown that goes, "I like to play a game." It kind of looks like it should be that, and it kind of represents itself also on the cheekbone right here. And I think it's something that everybody missed out on. Was that little figure right there. If any of you guys have pointed it out, then let me know. Also, something that was clearly brought up, especially in my comments section, was there's this little silhouette right here. Now, all along, I generally thought that it was just a random reflection, but I was really looking at this section right here. But under here, it shows a little more. It shows some eyes. It looks like there's some eyes anyway. And it could possibly be, and hear me out on this could be weird, but it could be the FNAF 3 ending. As it's been pointed out numerous times, in FNAF 3, one of the best endings is that the Fazbear's Fright burns down and all the things go off to auction. More on this theory in a second, but basically, as you can see, if you match up the images, that's exactly what it looks like. Although it might just be appealing to the eyes, it might just be an easy speculation, but I think it's something that could definitely be a potential thing. Everything in these theories, we want to pinpoint every theory so at least one of these is right. Another thing, which I know a lot of people saw, was on this hairpiece, while it may look like a reflection of Baby itself, I find it a little harder to believe because it shows a different color shading. There's different colors. It's like, it's a little more human, let's say. Whereas, obviously, Baby looks a little more white in the face. In the reflection, it's a little more skin tone, which begs me to believe that maybe there's multiple personalities in this. Maybe there's a brother to this, much like BB and JJ. We could possibly have a brother to this sister. I don't know, the two babies? Who knows? And while this may not totally help, down at the very bottom here, it shows a little wear and tear on the jaw area. Like the little chin piece, it shows possible wear and tear because, like, if you look at most of the other blemishes, they're a little more smoothened out, as you can see. But down here, it's a little more sharp and jagged, begging me to believe that this has already been used. Maybe there was a bit of struggle. Maybe somebody's actually in that suit right now, and that's forcing the struggle. Another thing that's possible is that it shows on the finger the silhouette of the baby, but to me, it looks a little more demonic, as you can see. Look, that's the mouth. That's the dodgy eyes, and there's the nose. Now, I may be looking too big into this, but it looks like this could be a little more than just what we see right here. Reflection can often jade that, but honestly, I think there's a little more into this. But another further in-depth analysis will show possible locations. While the birthday balloons often represent birthday parties aren't exactly the true testament when it comes to a balloon. It could be get well soon, it could be congratulations on being married, it could mean so many things, but it could also mean a circus. So while we could probably think that this is a pizzeria, which is common sense because, like, Freddy Fazbear's is somewhat of a pizzeria, and think of Sister Location as selling pizzas, of course. But maybe not. Maybe it could be doing circuses as well. Like, there's a proper show that's been put on, and maybe it not be like one of those big circus rings, but it might be some sort of testament to the clown race, which is like all the circus stuff. So we might see a few circus animatronics with the fun time pizzazz. Another thing that this baby looks like is not just a clown, but a jester. If you look at, like, the hairlines, they represent a little more of a jester feel, whereas the facial complexion shows a clown. So, possible hybrid? I have no idea. But another thing this speculates is that this could be a different timeline. A lot of us are thinking that it could be before FNAF 2, which is like a toy-like experience, and could explain in FNAF 4 with the Easter egg of the year 1983. Maybe this game is what it encompasses, 1983. But another theory as well is that after FNAF 3, with that nose reflection on there, it shows the FNAF 3 imagery of that little, you know, burnt down place, etc. Possibly could be after FNAF 3, who knows? And here's are all the possible outcomes that could come out of it. The new game could represent multiple time zones. Maybe not just encompassing one place, but possibly another timeline. Such like FNAF games, where they meet the minigame sequences, etc. Maybe it might do the same thing here. We might be expecting more minigames. But as we've seen from FNAF 4, the minigame that we saw was like fun with Plush Trap. And obviously, that wasn't 2D, that was a little more 3D. Maybe we're starting to see a few more minigame appearances of the bigger looking mechanics. It would explain why Scott's spending so long making this a particular game, because the mechanics could mean a very different kind of minigame altogether, and could tell us a little more about the story. Or I could be totally wrong, and it could represent either time zone. So it could either be FNAF 2, like before FNAF 2, or it could be after FNAF 3, or randomly out of the blue somewhere completely in between. As long as we've pinpointed these out, I think it's fair to say that there is a bigger analysis in this picture than what comes visually. As Scott says in one of the very testaments that came out on a live stream was Scott mentioning a bunch of riddles. And those riddles, I think one of them said something like a kid's eyes see differently to... that's what we've all come to expect. We're seeing a lot of innocence here, but look further and further in depth, it definitely looks like there's a lot to cover here. So anyway, that was my in-depth analysis. I know I made a previous video before. I feel as though I didn't do much with it. I really should have found this out a bit more, because it didn't take me up until like a day later that I started looking at the image a bit more and thinking, well, since I'm doing a sister location song, maybe I want to know a little bit more about this baby character. So looking at it a little further, it could represent so much more than we had ever believed, and I think Scott's really going to up the ante with this. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. If you like what you saw, click like and subscribe and share with your friends or family, or maybe your dog. I'm Orion of DAGames. We just did an in-depth analysis of the FNAF sister location image. See you next time, folks. Peace out!